Ever feel like you're just stuck, in a grammar rut? Spending all this time on verb tenses, memorizing irregular verbs, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then you still can't seem to, actually speak confidently in a real conversation.
Right. Right.
It's like you're not alone, believe me.
It's so common, yeah, especially for folks who learned English in a, system that's like super focused on all those grammar
That's
rules.
totally. And you know what? That's actually exactly what we're going to be diving into today. Kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We got this fascinating chapter. It's from a book called The Natural Approach.
Okay.
And it's specifically, I think, aimed at helping Indian students learn English. And it
Interesting.
really challenges some pretty big beliefs about, language learning in general.
Yeah, that's right. This chapter especially, it's all about the what's it called? The ESWAM English speaking system.
Right, right.
Might sound kind of, I don't know, complicated maybe at first,
Yeah.
but it's actually like surprisingly straightforward.
And I think the best part is the very first rule, the one that really, at least for me, stuck out was, are you ready for this?
Yeah, yeah.
Stop studying grammar rules.
Wow.
Bold,
Oh,
right?
that's a
I
statement.
mean, what do you make of that?
It's definitely provocative, I'll give it that, but, the author, Amol, he actually backs it up with some, I think, really strong arguments.
Okay.
He starts by talking about how, a lot of people feel frustrated because they spend like years and years studying grammar,
Mhm.
but they still can't really speak fluently.
It's so true. It's like that saying, how does it go? Knowing grammar doesn't mean you can speak a language.
Right,
You
exactly.
know the ingredients, but you have no clue how to bake a cake.
Perfect analogy. That's exactly it. And Amol, he gets into why that is. He
Right.
says that those traditional grammar-heavy methods, they're just not effective, not for most people anyway.
So then if grammar drills aren't the answer, what's the deal? Why do we all struggle so much with fluency?
Well, Amol says it's because there are just so many grammar rules.
Oh, yeah.
With all the exceptions, all the little nuances and stuff, it's just too much for our brains to handle, really. Like,
Yeah.
we're not wired to memorize that much, in such a, rigid way.
Right.
Especially with something like language, which is always changing and evolving.
That's so true. I remember trying to memorize every single use of the present perfect tense. Ugh.
Oh, I know.
And
Yeah.
it made my head spin.
It's impossible, and that's exactly the problem. When we're so busy trying to remember all those rules in the middle of talking to someone,
Oh, tell me about it.
no wonder we freeze up. It's like, imagine trying to, analyze the physics of swinging while you're in the middle of a cricket match.
Oh my
Your
God.
brain's going to be like, nope, can't do both.
That is such a good analogy because it's true. It's not that understanding, the mechanics of grammar is useless,
Right.
but when it's the only thing you focus on,
Mm. Yeah,
it makes it harder to just speak naturally. You know what I mean?
absolutely. You get stuck in your head instead of letting the language just flow.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's actually a really important point that Amal makes. He says fluency, real fluency. It comes from immersing yourself,
Yeah.
from actually practicing and getting a feel for the language,
Hmm.
not just having all these rules memorized.
So wait, are you saying we should throw away our grammar books? Just go for it.
Well, not exactly. Amal's not anti-grammar. He's
Yeah.
just saying it's like there's a time and a place for it.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued. So when is grammar actually useful then?
He talks about two situations.
Hmm.
And the first is if you already have a pretty good grasp of the language
Okay.
and you want to improve your writing or something,
Gotcha.
maybe make it sound, more sophisticated or whatever.
It's like you're fine-tuning a car that already runs.
Yeah.
You don't need to rebuild the entire engine or
Yeah.
anything.
Exactly. Exactly. You're just polishing it up, making it even better.
Makes sense. So then what's that second situation when grammar is actually helpful?
So the other time is when, you're studying for a big exam or something where they're going to test you on, all those specific grammar rules.
Right. Right.
You got to know the rules of the game, even if, honestly, you'd rather just play for fun.
Told as long as sometimes you just got to do it.
Exactly. And, unfortunately, those are kind of the rules we have to deal with, especially in academic settings.
True. True.
But Amal's point is outside of those specific situations, real fluency, it comes from embracing that natural flow,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just practice and immersion.
And actually, speaking of which, there's a really cool story in the book about this guy, Revulsor, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, revulsor.
Can you tell us a bit about him?
Yeah, so get this. He was an English teacher,
Okay.
but, and this is the funny part, he actually struggled to speak English fluently himself.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, like he knew all the grammar, obviously,
Right.
but he just couldn't like have a normal conversation in English.
Oh, no.
And it was really holding him back, like professionally and stuff.
That's so interesting, though. It just goes to show, like, even people who teach grammar
Yeah,
can get, like, too caught up in it.
totally.
So how did he break out of that then?
So he found a Moll's book,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
And he actually like decided to try out all these ideas.
Wow.
And he stopped worrying so much about grammar rules. And instead, he just focused on like immersing himself, having real conversations,
Yeah.
practical stuff.
So what happened? Like, did it work?
It totally worked. Like his fluency, it got so much better.
Wow.
He was way more confident, more expressive.
That's awesome.
But like most importantly, he finally felt comfortable, just speaking naturally.
That's incredible. It really shows how powerful it can be to, like, let go of that fear of messing up
Totally.
and just, like you said, immerse yourself.
Exactly.
Right. Actually, get this. It gets even better.
Oh, yeah.
So Ravel Sir was so pumped about his own progress
Right.
that he started using the same methods to teach his own students.
Oh, wow.
And apparently they were able to become so much more fluent too.
That's amazing.
On top of that, his English was so good now that he could actually earn a really good living from teaching.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Such a cool story.
Yeah.
It really proves, the main message of the book.
Yeah.
It's not about being perfect at grammar.
Right.
It's about finding your voice,
Yeah,
being able to express yourself.
absolutely.
So to everyone listening, like, imagine, what if you could let go of that fear of making mistakes? How much more freely could you speak?
Yeah, think about it.
What if you could actually enjoy the process of learning?
It's a good question, I think. At the end of the day, language is all about communication, connection,
Yeah.
creativity. So yeah, embrace it, have fun. Don't be afraid to stumble a little bit along the way.
That's such a good note to end on. Thank you so much for, diving into this with me. Super fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it was my pleasure, and thanks to everyone listening.